We
Hey
live?
everybody. Yep. Go ahead.
There we
Yeah.
go. I was just saying we're live, guys. Welcome back. We're here for another Wednesday webinar. Today's topic, we're talking about doing proper due diligence and everything in between there and how to know you're buying not such a risky deal. And welcome back. Excited to get back to it. Welcome, Brian, Leandra. Welcome in, Gregory. Talking all things due diligence today. It's a big topic, overlooked topic at a lot of times, Ron. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was one that we probably should have had earlier, but I'm glad we're getting to it because it saves you money by saying no to deals, saying yes to deals. It's a huge part of this business.
It's a good balance too, and we're going to get into all the specifics, but you got to put on your due diligence hat. You know, everyone wants to wear a sales hat, or some people want to wear their due diligence hat, not the sales hat. But being a small business owner, especially with this, salespeople can try to push through bad deals, and we see that all the time, and vice versa. Certain, lower risk people want to stop good deals from happening because of over due diligence. It's about finding that balance, but excited to get into it today. Our topic is due diligence. We'll get started here soon. Let people trickle in. Thomas, welcome. Max, as always, welcome. Max from Italy, joining 7 hours ahead here. Zedric, welcome in. Ludus Brand, welcome.
Brian said Land Portal removed duplicates, which made scrubbing much easier. Yeah. Happy to hear that, Brian. And I saw you pulled a list today. Let us know how the data looks.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Excited to see the results on that end. Cedric, Ludus, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. We'll let people trickle in here. We're talking all things due diligence. If you guys just joined, we have a question for you coming up as well, Ron, correct?
Yes.
And we'll get to that here shortly. Silk Road Organics, infrastructure.
Question, I'll just verbally do it, and then I'll share my screen here in a minute. Question for today, guys, is how long do you think it should take to do due diligence on a property? So you got to sign purchase agreement. How long do you think it should take to do due diligence on vacant land? You can do it in days, hours, whatever you think. Whatever you think. There's no right, wrong answer. But how long do you think it should take to do due diligence on vacant land?
And if you are experienced land investor, how long does it typically take you? I'm curious to see on that end because I see a bunch of people in here, very experienced. James, welcome in. Infrastructure of a Man said 1 week. XXX for Life said 30 to 45 days. 2 to 3 days. Michael McGran. Trevor from AC. Nice.
It's Action Academy.
Oh, Action Academy. What's going on, Trevor? Very cool. Mr. G, welcome in. Yeah, how long do you guys think it should take to do due diligence? I mean, it can be.
It looks like the lowest is 2 to 3 days, and the longest is 30 to 45 days.
1 week due diligence.
We'll definitely talk about this. So this is a yes, this is live, Harold.
And Ron, some people might be thinking due diligence, like posting, like buying a house, and you have a due diligence period.
Yeah.
When the offer. We're talking on the acquisitions.
Yep.
And what we're doing, we're buying in cash. So we're looking for speed, and we're going to talk about all that. So how long do you guys think it should take to know if you're going to buy a piece of land or not? And that's checking the deed. That's checking the land. All that stuff we're going to go into today. Let us know in the chat. Every day, 3 days, 2 days, 1 hour. Texas boy for real. That's the lowest now, Ron. 1 hour.
David asked, are we talking stage 1 due diligence or stage 2? So I'm talking post-purchase agreement and probably pre-boots on the ground. So everything up till boots on the ground, essentially.
Yeah.
But again, we have a wide variety of things. Really excited to get into this. I think that's a good question to get people talking because it is as variant from 1 hour to 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, in the 30 to 45
3
days.
months, so 90 days.
90 days. They might be thinking wholesaling too, and like getting your inspection, whatever it is, or buying, like when you're putting an offer in on a house, your due diligence period is typically fairly long.
And what we're trying to do in this time period, guys, is essentially what I'm asking you guys, like you got a purchase agreement. How long is it going to take you to say like, yes, I want to buy this piece of land.
Move it to title.
You know what I mean? Like, I love this deal. This makes sense. Or like, I need to kill this deal. That is the time period I'm talking about. If you have unlimited capital in your bank, I don't want to say unlimited, but you have $100,000 in your bank, $50,000 piece of land comes in. How long does it take you to say yes or no to that property?
Yeah. And Harold asked if this is live. Harold, this is live. That's why we do this every Wednesday. We have a new topic for anyone who's new every single Wednesday. Last week was something, I can't remember. What was last week?
Marketing, selling land fast. Selling land fast. That was a good one.
Pricing, blind offers, texting, double closing. We bring and if you guys have suggestions on what we do in the future, put those in because we take them from you and then we bring them here. So due diligence is a big one. There's a lot of people in here right now watching. How long do you guys think it takes to do it? And we can, I think, get started here shortly, Ron.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to share my screen here. Josh said depends on how long it takes to get the intel from the right people. I really like that answer, Josh.
That's a smart answer, Josh. He's thinking.
All right.
7 business days, Mr. G. Awesome, guys. We're going to start here. Gregory Wilkins says 20 minutes. County is usually slow to reply, Parker. Yeah, especially in rural America. We're going to talk all things that too.
100%. So again, guys, we do these every week. We have a different topic every week. The goal of these is to bring as much value to you guys as possible, the different aspects of land investing. We've done everything from pricing, blind offers, to due diligence today, and a lot in between. And we'll have some really good topics lined up for the future.
Excited for it.
Again, question for today is, how long should it take you to do due diligence on vacant land? And I kind of want to, let's start with this question, Dan, because I think it's really important. And I'm actually going to go to the next slide while we're talking about this, because this is kind of the 4 steps to due diligence. And again, I was excluding boots on the ground, essentially. So number one step is you are checking the land on the computer. You're using the land portal to check the overlays, to check the wetlands, to check the floodplain. You're just like, does it have road access? Is there anything? Are there crazy utility easements running through it? Anything that I can see on Google Earth on the land portal with the overlays, that is my first step of due diligence.
What about price?
What'd you say?
What about price? Is that a part of due diligence?
Price check.
Price check. Okay, keep going.
So yeah, first I'm looking at the land. Like, I don't care if the PA purchase agreement is for $50,000 and market value is $100,000. If that land is trash, or just horrible land, something doesn't check out on it, market value probably isn't actually $100,000. Next, I'm getting into price check. So land check, we check the land, overlays, wetlands, floodplain, like I said, slope as well, which I didn't say. If those check off, you're like, okay, and that should take 5-10 minutes, Dan, as you become more experienced, right?
Slope, wetlands, access. Access is the biggest one, and slope's the biggest one typically from a land investor's perspective. So checking those 2 things is the biggest thing. And then also, where do you have
zoning? Type these in so you guys can have this as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Slope, just checking the slope. Is it buildable? That's your number one question when looking at land. Is there neighboring properties on similar slope as well to mitigate some risk there? So essentially what we're doing with due diligence is we're just underwriting the property from a risk perspective. We're making sure that when we buy it we average buying things at about 40 to 45% of market value. And if you guys don't know our strategy, we've done YouTube lives in the past on Wednesday. You can go back and watch those. But that's the biggest thing, guys, is checking the risk of the property. That's what we're doing here, and making sure that when we buy it, we can list it on the market immediately after buying it and sell it fast. That's what due diligence is about. It's making sure you're just underwriting the correct deals and mitigating all the risk possible that you can.
100%. Yeah, you start buying like it can really hurt your business. You buy a couple deals that don't work out for whatever reason. But so let's just say, for example, this piece of land. So what you're looking at when you're doing this computer check is what I call it. Your first line of defense is this computer check. You hit contour lines, you hit floodplain, you hit wetlands, you hit water features. And like, okay, crap, this has this. Does this mean it's going to stop me from looking at this deal? Am I going to stop right here? Probably not, but I'm going to check the price next. The land check, it has to be really, really bad to stop there. Don't you think, Dan?
I agree. Here, I can say a couple of things about this specific piece of land that I know just from looking at this. But for those who don't know, this is the thelandportal.com. Link in description for a free trial, all that good stuff. But this is how we're analyzing our first line. Ron's face is covering on your guys' screen the overlays on the map. So what there is under there, there's contour lines, as you can see, and then there's wetlands, flood zones, and water features. And there's a bunch of overlays being added to this right now, but those are our main ones that we're looking for. We're looking for access. So let's go through that checklist and look at this land, Ron.
Yeah. So really when we're going through this, like I said here, let me go back here real fast. Slope, wetlands, floodplain, road access. So when I'm looking through here, we do have some wetlands going right through the middle. So that's something that we're going to have to check down the line. And when I'm doing this computer check, I'm just kind of like marking things down on a piece of paper, wherever it is, like has some wetlands in the middle. This is going to affect the sale price of land. Typically, it matters exactly what it is. This has great road access. So going road access, this has great road access here and here. This is an amazing piece of land in terms of road access. It does not have a floodplain. It does have those wetlands, and then slope. It just seems to have this water collection area here, Dan. And looking at the slope on the land portal, 940 feet above sea level, 960.
So
So it
those
slopes
pink
off the
lines,
road
they're
a
a
little
little
bit.
hard to see on this overlay, but those pink lines essentially are how many feet apart, Ron?
These are 20 feet apart.
So they're 20 feet apart. So every time you see that pink line and then another pink line, that's an increase or decrease in elevation, depending on which numbers they're swaying there. So David just asked, can you check slope on the land portal? Yes, you can. And then you can also hit 3D. When you guys are doing due diligence, hit the 3D button. Our faces are covering it again. It's in that bottom right, and you can kind of see what's going on. There is a valley on this property because the water's collecting at the bottom. Wherever the water collects, typically that's the valley. And we could see that from the slope in the wetland. So now we have kind of a base idea of what's going on in this land just from this really quick analysis.
So 3D buttons right here so you guys can see without our faces. I am going to put our faces back on just because it's it gives you guys a little more access. But you can see as I zoom in here, guys, you can see that like Dan's talking about, this is the water collection area. This is what is causing the wetlands and stuff like this. This 3D is I like the way Parker put it. 3D is clutch. This 3D is very helpful, just giving you a perspective of what you're doing. We probably don't use it enough, honestly, in our business.
No, we don't. And the other thing we don't use, well, we can't do it as much on this call because it slows down Ron's computer, but there is in the top left of Ron's screen, it says download KML. KML file, this is on the land portal. KML file directly puts it out to Google Earth. And then you can look from the Google Earth perspective and go on the street view. And then I'm kind of worried about how sloped this is off that main road right there.
Are you?
No, I'm not. But let's just say I was. Is what I was trying to say. So maybe I'm concerned off the slope there.
Oh, okay. I see.
So you go on Google Earth, you drag your little guy down there, and you put it and you look at it from there.
And that's what the contour lines, and for members in here too. This is the contour lines do not always match up with 3D. This would be cause for further due diligence because there is no way that these contour lines are matching up.
Ron's saying the contour lines are showing more slope than the 3D map. They're not correlated, or they are typically correlated, but they're not connected to each other. They're each their own. 3D maps its own thing separate from there. It's not reading the contour lines essentially. So that's something to look at, and we can see that on Google Earth. We can go and also check elevation profile, and we have videos on that in the past.
A lot you can do with the computer. That computer check that we talked about on get on number 2. That computer check is it's your first line of defense. When you're first starting this, it might take you an hour. After you get do more land deals, you review more land deals, all this, you come on these calls, you see deals being reviewed. You can do this in 10 minutes, like that one, 5-10 minutes even. Going back up here, next one is price check. Okay, I have my buy price is X dollars. My projected sale price is what I'm looking for. And I'm not going to walk through that. We've done that in quite a few calls, Dan, but you are looking like, okay, does this deal make sense from a money perspective? I'm under contract to buy this for $30,000. It looks like it can sell for whatever number makes sense to you. We like to double our money, but there's definitely ways to have less margin as well. So that's that.
And that's, so the price is huge. Like price is the number one driver of a good or bad deal. Obviously, assuming the land checks out, the price is the biggest thing. Even with, I always like to rate, and we have Anthony, our COO, rate every single piece of land we come in from price, property, and location. Those are the 3 data points. So location, how good is the market? Is this going to move fast in this market? If it's a good piece of land, are things moving? Is there demand in the market for this lot? So we usually rate A to F. So you might have, a property with a C- or D land, but the price is an A+ because you got it so cheap. We had a recent deal in South Carolina that did really well like this, Ron. We just had such a good price on it.
Yep.
And it all worked out. And then the location as well. But you don't want D's or C's across the board. You always want, AAA obviously is ideal, but that's far and few between. You always want, your location decent, your property decent, and price decent. And sometimes some will pull the others. You have a great price and the property will be C-. I would rank this property from seeing it a D+ or C-.
Really?
From the water in the valley. Yes, it's a valley collecting water. Both sides slope down. C-. I think D is a little rough, but I think it's a C-.
Then going on to 3 and 4, guys. 3, we're going to talk a lot about in the next step. That's zoning, restrictions, legal aspects. This is after these 2 have checked off. What you can do after the price check is if it doesn't check with the price, or if the combination of the price and the land check don't work out, You go back to the seller and you try to negotiate. You try to get it at a price that makes sense to you before you start going on to these other things. If the land's like a C and it's hurting the price of, it's hurting the market value, and you need to get it cheaper, that's what you should be doing after that price check. But going on zoning and then boots on the ground, we're going to talk more in depth in the next 2 slides.
Real
This
quick,
is our
Ron.
What'd you say?
Real quick, Ron. Steps 1 and 2 you can do by yourself whenever. Steps 3 and 4, I can't remember what 4 was, but steps
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground. Steps 3 and 4, you're going to need outside help.
Exactly. So Silk Road Organic said, how can you check legal access? So if it is off the road, like we saw on that deal on the land portal, it's pretty easy. Like this is county road. You can also call the county just to confirm, like this is a public road, everything like that. If it looks like an easement or something like that, then you might have to do some deed research. You have to look for a plat. You have to look for a survey. That's probably more advanced due diligence stuff that we can probably have. I could talk 30 minutes alone just on that. But going on here, this link is in the description. This is a due diligence checklist. This is what we give our paid members. So we'll go over this real fast, Dan. And this is essentially step 3. There are some parts that are like step 1, but this is essentially like step 3 where you're talking to the county. You're getting information from the county. So number 1, you're getting the deed. You're reviewing the deed.
Deed received.
Number 2, did everyone on the deed sign the purchase agreement? So before we even started this, step 1, this is post-purchase agreement. Okay, now you're checking the deed, and the deed is who legally owns the property. So if Sally, you're talking to Sally, and then there's also Sally, Bob, Jim are on the deed, you need to ask Sally, like, who are these other people? And because they do have rights to the property. Sometimes siblings try to sell properties out from under their siblings. Sometimes it happens all different situations. There's so many situations like that. Does it have legal access? Does it have physical access? Physical access is, can you get to the property? Legal access, can you legally get to the property? So sometimes things have legal access where it's off the road. It's not on a road, but it has an easement, but the easement is not built out. That would be legal access without physical access.
So the easement's just, it has the ability to have a road there, but the road's not there, for those who don't know what an easement is.
Exactly. And then going into zoning and restrictions, you want to find out what you can do with the land. That's what this entire thing is about. What can you do with the land? Can you put mobile homes on it? If you can put mobile homes on it, are there restrictions on it? Is it commercial? Can you put RVs? If it's only site built, these things affect the price of land in a lot of areas in rural America if you cannot put mobile homes. It sounds like a crazy thing to a lot of people. Like, what? People are just going to build, they think. Can you hunt on the land? Yeah. But not having mobile homes, like that is one of the things. I kill a lot of deals.
This is rural America. Like
I kill a ton of deals.
When people start to get 10, 20 acres, they do not want the government and municipalities telling them what they can and cannot do. Every single restriction that you add to a property decreases the total people that want that property in some way, no matter what restriction it really is. A restriction is going to decrease the percentage of people in some capacity, some much more than others.
Absolutely. And then going setbacks. Setbacks is essentially how far off the road you need to be to put a house, to put a mobile home, to put a permanent structure, essentially. And on busier roads, setbacks are more, because if there's a crash or something on a busy road and it goes into someone's house, you don't want that. So they might have a 100-foot setback or something like that. There's situations like if there's a creek 150 feet off the road or something, and you want to be able to build right in front, that's when these setbacks really matter. Or maybe it slopes up a steep slope really fast after 50 feet, you need to build right on the road. That's when setbacks matter, because the end buyer won't be able to build unless they go on that slope or go behind that creek.
Yeah, completely agree.
Then utilities, electric, water, sewer. I really don't care that much about utilities.
These aren't as important. You can dig a well and you can get a septic. It's not, you're in rural America. People expect not to have that stuff.
Exactly. Then you'll also call the county and any soil test that are confirming that you can build. They're called perk tests a lot of times. I called soil in this, but soil buildability test. Is there anything else in the county? So you're calling the county, you're getting surveys, you're getting plats. Yeah. What'd you say?
The health department for the
health department. Health department will have this. I'm sorry. I meant to say, tell everybody where you get this stuff. So setbacks and zoning, you're going to get from zoning. Deed, you will get zoning from, what's the department?
Zoning. So every county has different departments. Typically, some of them one person handles if you're really rural, but they have zoning departments. They have Yeah, recorders where you can
Recorders,
get the deed.
deeds, plats,
Yeah,
surveys, anything that's filed
right,
essentially.
right.
But going on, Dan, let's get to boots on the ground, because this is, like I said here to end, this is your last line of defense from buying a bad deal, essentially. I mean, you could have some other checkpoints somewhere.
This will make you, but it also prepares you to be ready to market
100%.
when the property, because if you don't have pictures and boots on the ground, you're going to get pictures as well, and you're going to get pictures and that you can visualize the property and actually see it. And like for this property where all that wetlands is, I'd have the drone photographer from droners.io go in the actual property and take the pictures around that area of concern, and then when it comes back to you, can visualize it and see if it's a risk or not.
100%. So really two options for the thing when you get anyone for boots on the grounds, whether it's a realtor or a drone person, you need to be very detailed if you have a question about the land. So for example, that property that we looked at, Dan, in Ohio, I don't think I have that up anymore. Let me check. I actually do. So this property that I had up in Ohio, like one thing, let me pull up that filter real fast. One thing I would definitely tell, whether it's a drone person or a realtor, like I want them to walk the first couple hundred feet back of the land to make sure it doesn't get wet closer up. So my questions for someone who's going to land, one is how fast is it actually sloping up off the property, because we have conflicting things. And then two, how wet is this back here? And is it wet outside of this as well? Because it could be wet in much more areas where this is not going to be a buildable piece
Yes,
of
these
land.
these are overlays based on who gives these out? The US.
It's the wetland. I don't know. It's
Yeah, there's a
wetlands.
wetlands over, there's a FEMA overlay, and then there's a wetlands overlay. Click that, Ron. You can click the FEMAs and you can click the wetlands, and it'll tell you what type of flood zone or wetlands it is on the land portal. But just want to throw, it's more important for flood zones because you can distinguish if it's a 500, 100-year, coastal flood, all that different stuff.
Yep. This is the land portal, School Gang, and this is the description. I'm sorry, link for a 14-day free trial is in the description if you guys haven't already got that.
But real quick, Ron, if you guys are enjoying this, we do this every single Wednesday, new topic. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, you'll be notified all that stuff of all of our webinars. You can go back and watch the replays, things like that. But if you're enjoying this due diligence, please hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate that.
So really your two options for those boots on the ground. Yeah, absolutely. Your two options for boots on the ground. One, unless you're in the area, I guess that's a third area, you could go yourself. And we do have quite a few people that do deals in their area and they go to their own deals. But hire a drone person, a drone photographer, droners.io, or get a realtor to walk the land. The nice thing that Dan said about both of these is these are going to be your marketing pictures. You're not just hiring a drone person to go walk your land. You're hiring a drone person to go take pictures and get you some ground pictures and give you some due diligence. And this is all for like $200. Like these are $40,000, $50,000 profit deals, and you can get drone people to take excellent pictures. The droners.io, we purchased that website 3 weeks ago or so. It's up and running. But there's 12,000 photographers anywhere in the country. You can get a drone photographer for your piece of land, and they do really good work on there.
12,500 after we approved the 500 sitting in there.
But yeah, so that's really the gist of due diligence, Dan. This is boots on the ground are so important, and so many people try to skip this. This is the difference between you walking away from a deal or you losing $20,000 on a deal because you went through with a deal and then your first buyer who goes to the land, they're like, this is wet.
Well, how are you going to post it if you don't have it? It's just so like you can do. So what you do, do all this due diligence. And if you feel really good about it for steps 1, 2, and 3, then you send it to title, you have it in title, and then you do step 4 while it's in title and the process is going and they're getting all the policies for you. And then you do this last step. So you can still technically back out if you need to, if something really bad comes, but then you have the marketing pictures and list right away. And the name of this business, the number one thing, you want to turn your inventory fast. Like that's the goal here. So you can buy more properties, pay off any investors, whatever it is, and you can just keep recycling and making more money.
Yeah, exactly. So David asked, did we do a deep dive on the land portal? So if you guys, and even if you guys don't have an account, you can view these videos. We also have a land portal YouTube channel, but you can go on the video library on here. It looks like we have 8 videos. We're continually adding features.
And we have posted on deep dives on Apke Brothers YouTube page though, correct?
Yes, Friday videos, we've had quite a few of them.
Yeah.
It's not like an hour straight of everything. Maybe we'll do that at some point, just
an
hour straight.
Dive. but we're changing so much. Like if you would have watched this a week or two ago, there wouldn't have been some of these features. So we'll get another deep dive in there, but there's a 14-day free trial. Check it out. We just acted like it's a mapping source, Ron. The land portal is a mapping source, but it's a data source. This is where you go to get the best vacant land data. This is the best land data in the world right here.
So I think I was in like Claremont, Ohio or something. Maybe I was in Adams, Ohio. I was in that area. So like, for example, I don't know what that parcel was, what the size of that parcel that we're looking at today. But if you wanted to get all the properties in Adams County, Ohio, 10 to 30 acres, hit apply. You can even map them out on here. I'm not going to map that many. Let's just go 10 to 15 acres, 1,300 right here. I'm going to just get it a little smaller so I can map it for you guys. So I can show that real fast. Cause
wait, real quick. Show the vacant land filter when you go back.
I will. So you can have all these on here. You can even do it by polygon. If you wanted to search by polygon, you can search by polygon as well. I don't know if you can see my mouse a little bit down here in the bottom right. If you wanted to change your list at all, if you don't like some properties, if you go in, don't like some properties, you can uncheck any property. It's going to take it off your export list. So this is honestly, you can map and all the mapping overlays are awesome, but the ability to get a full list, owner name, all this information, mailing address, ready to go. You can skip trace on here. This is a it's all the data.
It's a data first solution. We focused on data before anything else and mapping second. So I just want to throw that out there. But the thing with this too, it uses AI to make sure it's vacant. It's not using county recorded information. There's a vacant land filter. Yeah. That's the most accurate vacant land filter in the world right there. It takes USPS indicators, building square feet, all this different stuff, and then compiles it and then makes a decision if it's vacant. It's 99.99% accurate. The problem we were having with the other sources and data tree was that we were sending too many mobile homes and structures mail, and mail is very expensive. So that was one solution we have. Along with that, another feature we're adding a ton of stuff right now, but soon there will be a feature to make to be able to tell if properties are landlocked without access and how much road frontage they have for subdivide targets and things like that.
Yep. You can get data for 6 cents per record on there. Really, really powerful stuff on there. Have you ever had a droner take some bolt cutters to get through a gate to get to the property? You need to make, if you own the property, great, go for it. You want to be careful. You just, if that could be someone else's gate, like if there's multiple access, you just want to be careful what you're doing with other people's stuff.
You got to be really careful. These people will walk out with shotguns. It's probably happened 10 to 20 times to our drone people and stuff like that. You got to be careful. This is rural America. People protect their land. They're not going to shoot you, but they'll come out with a gun. Like that happens very often.
Exactly. What's a good place to file my LLC? I'm working on my credit. I'm in the 6s. Now should I file it and start? LLC credit shouldn't matter with the LLC, right?
I missed that question. Read that one more time.
What's a good place to file my LLC? I'm working on my credit. I'm in the 6s now. Should I file it and start?
Yeah, so your LLC is not correlated to your credit score at all. Just do it with whatever state you're doing. I always go directly to the state and just do it myself. Our businesses are filed in Ohio. You can do wherever you want. There's pros and cons of different locations. We just do ours in Ohio, and I file directly through the state.
Yeah. Is there training videos for wholesaling info lots? We do more big land and then info lots. We will dabble in info lots, but not like some other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Will there be a wetland coverage percent feature on the land portal? Are you saying as far as on the export?
There is on the export. It tells you
the accuracy though. Like
I don't like to filter from that, but there is on the export. You'll see the percentage of flood zone, and I think wetlands, but I know flood zone for certain.
Yep. Again, if you guys haven't already, we have a podcast coming out in like 2 minutes on YouTube that you guys can watch as well. Can't remember what that's on. Oh, I think it's quitting your job from land flipping. But if you guys haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked this video is live right now, but it will also be recorded, put it on our YouTube. If you want to watch back any of the parts, like we said in this video, due diligence is a huge, huge part of this business. And becoming an expert, and I think can really help. Because a lot of people were saying at the beginning, Dan, 30, 45 days for due diligence. Due diligence, if you're just doing standard due diligence, like we said on there, it should be 48 hours max.
Yes, I think, I didn't mention this. The quicker, the better. You do not want due diligence sitting. We're buying properties at 40% market value. You don't want sellers to back out. The quicker, the better for due diligence always, but you always want to make sure it's thorough.
Speed.
Things will go wrong and you have to wait a week for certain things sometimes. Just keep the seller informed because people will back out. Can the land portal scrub data for export? Ewan asked. Yes, it can. On the export page, you'll ask. It removes duplicates. It can remove
Just
any
duplicate. Yeah.
empty mailing addresses. There's 4 different data points it can scrub out.
It's not going to scrub out like specific owner types though. No.
What do you mean?
Like if you wanted to get rid of all LLCs or all churches or all whatever.
Yeah, we're looking to add that as well in the near future, but yes, correct.
It removed the duplicates since I didn't want to mail power company. You removed 1 row. Okay. I think he was explaining to someone else. In the South, would it be good to get a property with water and where you can find some? I mean, if you have water features on properties, around properties, it's definitely valuable. Other than that, guys, we do have a members call that we need to hop on. Really appreciate if you guys have not already hit the subscribe button. We have tons of videos coming out. Really appreciate it. Next week, we'll let you guys. Do we have a topic for next week, Dan?
Let us know in the chat.
Someone wanted non-disclosure pricing, I believe.
Oh, pricing. Yeah.
Or was it, or is it zip code pricing?
Zip code pricing is what
zip code pricing. We're going to get a little more detailed. We've had a pricing module before in the past for pricing blind offers. Next week, we're going to get even more detailed into it on zip code pricing strategies. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining, guys. See you next time.